On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Tama Tonga confirms that WWE wants to sign him. An AEW star makes their surprise return on Rampage, and Randy Orton is in great shape following his rumored WWE return. Folks, we're reading your favorite wrestling movies to wrestling news because it's time, say it with me, man, for the Turnbuckle. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Never Openweight Championship is currently held by Bullet Club founding member Tama Tonga, but it seems as though the NJPW star may have his sights set outside of the promotion. During a recent interview with Yahoo Japan, Tonga confirmed that WWE has expressed interest in signing him, sharing that he was open to the idea. "I would be the best wrestler," Tonga said. "It could be the ultimate legend of New Japan Pro Wrestling, or it could be the WWE, because WWE is knocking hard on my door, and I might say hello." It's possible that Tonga's comments are meant to be somewhat playful, but it's also possible that the Never Openweight Championship is looking to make a major move in the near future. According to the previous backstage reports on Tonga's NJPW status, his contract with the company will be up shortly, despite the former Bullet Club member signing a new contract with NJPW just last year. If he were to leave, Tonga would join fellow Bullet Club alumni Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, who departed from NJPW to sign with WWE in 2022. Former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Switchblade Jay White also seems to be on his way out of the company, though it's unknown if he plans to head to either WWE or AEW in the future. In the past, Tonga was offered a role within WWE, but made the decision to turn down the company's offer in order to tag with his brother. After putting in a few more years working with NJPW, it seems Tonga is leaving the door open to other possibilities this time around. So this is really interesting. I don't remember correctly if Tama Tonga, you're right? Yeah. I think it would make a lot more sense if he went over to WWE just because he's got Styles and, you know, he's got the Good Brothers there and everything like that. And I think if he went over to AEW, he would probably have, like, well, he wouldn't have Cody, because who was in, I don't think Adam Cole was in Bullet Club. The point is, he wouldn't have as many members, so I feel like, well, listen, all right, look, I don't 100% know, but if I was a betting man, I would more than likely put my money on him going to WWE specifically, you know, because there's more people there for him to, be around and everything like that. He doesn't have to be with them, you know, he can go on like a singles push. I don't really see anything wrong with that. I just, if you're gonna go somewhere, I guess, like, you could probably go to the place where, like, you have, like, more history with people, because then you can make more storylines off of that and it could be more interesting. But look, that's just me. He can go wherever he feels like it, so we're just gonna have to wait and see where that ends up being. Next, we're gonna talk about an AEW star and how they made their surprise return on Rampage. Keith Lee made his return to AEW on Wednesday night. During the AEW Rampage taping that took place following Wednesday's Dynamite, Lee came out for the save after Parker Boudreaux caused a disqualification in a match between Dustin Rhodes and Swerve Strickland. Lee had not been on television since December. On the December 21st edition of Dynamite, Lee was attacked by Strickland's new associates, Boudreaux, and a new addition to the AEW roster that was later identified under the name Trench. The two assisted Swerve in taking out Lee, holding a cinder block on Lee's chest as Strickland connected with a stomp off the turnbuckle. So this is pretty much the exact same situation that Christian is in right now. I'm glad that Lee is back. Listen, that does not take away from the return at all. I think the main issue is just the fact that, well, no, you know what? In kayfabe, this is actually this makes sense because you stomped a cinder block on my chest. I'm not just gonna, like, pretend that didn't happen. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get my hits back. All right, so it makes a whole lot of sense. I think that this is also gonna probably be a match of Revolution. I don't 100% know, but again, if I were a betting man, I'm not a betting man. Please bet responsibly. And if you have a betting addiction, go to, what's that? 1-800-GAMBLING, isn't that what it's called? Either way, again, I would like to see something new, but I assume, this is them just, wrapping the bow on the storyline. So we just got to wait for this to be over. And then, new, I don't know why I want to say, like, new tidal waves are going to come in. Sure, we'll go with that. A new tidal wave is going to come in and it's going to wet our feet and it's going to be great. I don't know where I was going with that, but that, you know what? Take that with what you will. Finally, Randy Orton is in great shape ahead of his rumored WWE return. Randy Orton was taken out of action because of a back injury and it required fusion surgery to repair his problem. The Viper is getting a lot of social media engagement right now as fans are hopeful for his return to action. Recent developments could point toward a possible return and he's in great shape to pull it off. Randy Orton allegedly contacted a bootmaker to make a pair of his signature wrestling attire. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted this story about the Bootmaker, and Orton is also in fantastic shape ahead of a possible return to the ring. There's a story going around that Orton has contacted his bootmaker for new wrestling boots, which means he's looking at returning. As noted last week, in photos, he physically looked like he had been training heavily. This is absolutely fantastic news because if you've been following along, Randy Orton got the injury. Man, this was like had to be that's not true. What's it? Yeah, had to be last year. And he was out for a while, and then Riddle had the whole situation with him, and then he got taken off of TV, and then reports were coming out that Randy's situation was getting like worse, and man, it just wasn't looking good. And I was worried that this was it. There was a time when I was like, man, you know what? This might be it. This might be the end for the Viper, for the Legend Killer as we know it. But it seems like he's in great shape. He's improving a lot. I'm very happy to hear that. He's contacting his bootmaker, so if that tells you anything, it tells you that he's going to be in the ring sooner rather than later, I assume. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. So Randy Orton is looking good. I'm very excited for this, and man, I can't wait to see him back in the ring. What do we talk about? Tama Tonga could be going to WWE or AEW. Again, it makes more sense if he went to WWE. He could go wherever he wants to be honest. He could go to Dunkin' Donuts for all I care, but it seems like WWE is like the best decision for him, again, because like he's got more people over there. But look, he can end up anywhere, and only time will tell. Lee is back. Keith Lee's back. Good. I am glad that he's back. I'm glad that so far it doesn't really seem like he was written off for like an injury or anything like that. It seems like in kayfabe it was actually a pretty serious injury, to be honest with you, in kayfabe. But for in terms of like his actual health, it seems like he's doing all right. So I'm glad to know that he's back. Well, let's get this feud nice and completed, and let's get him doing something else. Randy Orton is in great shape. I'm incredibly happy to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that Randy Orton is on his way back, and he's contacted his bootmaker, all right? So it's just going to be Randy Orton. He's going to come back like Cody Rhodes in like 2009 when he just had the trunks and the boots, and that's it. But the boots are going to be fabulous, okay? They're going to say his name, and they're going to have like, the tattoo on like, what's it, his arm? Or like his, somewhere like over on like his arm or shoulder or something. It's his arm, right? It's going to, like whatever's on his arm, it's going to be on the boot, and that's what it's going to be. All right, boys. You know what? That's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.